just gonna throw this out there. Are we all 100% sure that Scott Derrickson wasn't the perfect director for Multiverse of Madness? Because this man knows how to do horror movies. The Black Phone stars Mason Thomas, Madeline McGraw, and Ethan Hawke, and is about after being abducted by a child killer and locked in a soundproof basement, a 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims. Based off a short story by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King, comes this brand new horror film from the director of Sinister, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and obviously Doctor Strange. That is Scott Derrickson, which when he made Sinister, I remember seeing in theaters with a bunch of my friends. We snuck in, and I'll never forget saying to all my friends, that movie was scary. Like, the term scary, and people are like, is it a scary movie? Sinister. I always recommend Sinister because it's actually a scary movie with great imagery. Going in this movie, the hype grew a lot to me because of all the great reviews, which I hate doing. I'd rather go in just saying, alright, I like the ingredients here. Ethan Hawke, Scott Derrickson. I mean, this is a good cast. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from the trailers. And then I get all this good reviews. I'm like, oh no, now if I hate it, everyone's gonna hate me. But if I love it, I'm just joining everyone. So, I mean, I really like this movie. Beginning with my positives is Mason Thomas and Madeline McGraw. These two young actors have a future. Both of them. Both of them give off performances that are just outstanding. Honestly, especially the sister. She is so good. First off, she's a badass. Second of all, she's really funny. And third off, I love her. Like, every time she's on screen, she is stealing the scene. She is great. Obviously, the brother who is stuck in this basement with Ethan Hawke, he's obviously seen a lot more in this movie, but he's also very good in this movie. His character is so interesting to me because the first 20 minutes, you really get to develop this brother-sister bond, and it's perfect. And this brother is really just going through it. He's getting his ass kicked, and guess what? His sister is there to help, but she always gets her ass kicked a little bit. It's such a good relationship. You love them. And the movie does a perfect job setting this up to when he gets kidnapped, you actually are like, man, I hope he gets him home because I feel bad. I want them back together. Ethan Hawke plays the Grabber in this movie, a serial child murderer, and I can't even tell you how good he's in this movie. I mean, in all honesty, if someone told me he's as good as Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, I'm not going to disagree, but I'm not going to fully agree, but I'm going to tell you, he is unsettling, and he is frightening. I mean, he is actually just unsettling. Ethan Hawke gives a just really good performance as the Grabber. I mean, his mask, which is a Tom Savini design, first off. Tom Savini. When's the last time I said that name in a horror review? He did the design of the mask, and his team obviously made it. And his just person, I mean, he is unsettling. How he talks, how he moves with his eyes. Like, his acting, you don't see his mouth a lot in this movie, so it's all of his eyes. Ethan Hawke is just, wow. I mean, he is really just, he is going for this psychopathic just vibe, and he nails it. Now, these performances are amazing, but Scott Derrickson also makes a great looking movie. I mean, he did make Doctor Strange, which is a big Marvel movie, but listen, I always think about Sinister before Doctor Strange, and with this movie, he just knows how to make an unsettling, just creepy vibe movie. And with this movie, he is bringing in a fantasy vibe, which, again, I have not read the short story, so I don't have no idea what the short story even, like, talks about, what perspective it is. I have no idea, but the people around me all apparently read it, and they were like, yeah, he really expanded it, and, like, this was a really bigger, better version. I was like, okay, Strange Citizen, I will go by your word, because I think this story feels like a Stephen King movie, which is so funny because it's Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King, and this movie just feels like a 1980s Stephen King movie. It being very magical a little bit, a little fantasy-like. Now, talking more about my issues, I have very few, like 2 little issues. First one I'll talk about is a character that you've not seen in the trailers at all. This character, I was like, oh, it's him. And then when I saw him, I was like, oh, cool. and he goes for a comedic relief, because this movie is funny. Like, it is. Like, there is funny parts of this movie, which sometimes can really damage the scary tone, if you ask me. Sometimes movies can very much balance it. I think It 1 did it well. It Chapter 2 went too much into comedy. There are scenes in this movie that I'm like, alright, we're going for the joke a little bit, but there's like a ghost kid who's got blood on him, and we're laughing. I don't know. There was a few parts like, I wish we didn't go for a joke here. But either way, there's this one character that you've not seen in all the trailers, and he felt like a complete comedic relief. And his outcome in this movie is an outcome people want in this kind of movie, so I get his reasoning of being here, but I just kind of feel like he's just there a little bit. And now, speaking about Ethan Hawke, listen, I've already said it. He gives a tremendous, psychopathic, unsettling character that honestly could be already put into some big horror icons. The Mask alone puts him in like imagery like that. But I'm going to say this. I've said unsettling and very frightening this whole review. I have not said scary about him. And my only little thing about him, I wish we seen him a little bit more. Because, okay, I'm going to be very non-spoiler, but if you feel like this is spoilerly, go ahead and just skip like a minute or 30 seconds. But I'm going to go ahead and say this. You never see him kill one of the kids he abducts. So, I never felt so scared by him. Like, I never felt the serious danger by him. I felt unsettled, but I never felt like, oh shit, like he's the real deal kind of thing. He's super unsettling. His performance is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I just wish we'd shown him a little bit more, and by a little bit more, give me one scene of actually showing him kill a kid, which sounds messed up, but I feel like it would have made him like, oh damn, this guy's like, he's the real shit. Overall, I'm very happy with this movie. It very much shocked me at how good it was, because I think this is better than Sinister, because Sinister has that really scary imagery that really stuck with me. But this movie really does deal with like a Stand By Me mixed with like a 1980s Stephen King story. It's just, it goes together very well. It felt like I was watching an old Stephen King movie. And I like a lot of Stephen King movies. A lot of them. There are some bad ones. But like with this movie, this story, the fantasy-like, the scariness, the blood, what we want, I had a really good time with this movie. I'm going to give The Black Phone an A-. Scott Derrickson, whatever you do next, don't let it be Marvel. I mean, you did a good job with Doctor Strange, but like, you obviously got a good thing going with horror movies. Obviously, do more with Ethan Hawke because he's great. But these two child stars, I'm saying it now, both of them, especially the sister, are going to be stars. They're both so good in this movie. Anyway, guys, you guys enjoyed this very kind of early movie review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.